Imagine a world where every smile you share sparks a ripple of joy, where every kind word you speak plants a seed of hope, and where every small act of love grows into a tree of peace that shelters all beings. What if I told you that such a world is not a dream, but a promise carried by a radiant figure whose laughter echoes like a gentle breeze, whose heart is as wide as the sky, and whose wisdom lights the path for every child, every parent, and every soul seeking happiness? This is the story of Maitreya Buddha, the Buddha of the future, whose teachings of compassion and joy can guide us all, especially the youngest among us, to live with open hearts and fearless kindness. Stay with me, dear friends, as we embark on a journey through a magical tale crafted just for you, a tale that will warm your heart, spark your curiosity, and inspire you to bring a little more light into the world. If this story touches you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the joy, and consider leaving a super thanks to support more stories like this one. Long ago, in a time when the earth hummed with the songs of rivers and the whispers of ancient trees, there was a village nestled in a valley cradled by mountains. This village, called Sunpetal, was a place where the sun seemed to linger a little longer, as if reluctant to leave the laughter of its people. The children of Sunpetal were known for their bright eyes and boundless energy, but they often quarreled over small things: who could run the fastest, who had the shiniest stone, or whose kite soared the highest. These quarrels, though small, cast shadows over their hearts, dimming the light of their joy. One golden morning, as the children played by the river, a stranger appeared on the path leading into Sunpetal. He was unlike anyone they had ever seen. His face glowed with a warmth that rivaled the sun, and his smile was so wide it seemed to embrace the entire valley. His robes were simple, yet they shimmered with colors that danced in the light gold, saffron, and the soft green of new leaves. Around his neck hung a mala of beads that clinked softly, like the sound of water over pebbles. But what caught the children's attention most was his laughter, a deep, rolling laugh that made the flowers turn their heads and the birds pause their songs to listen. "Who is he?" whispered Lila, a girl with pigtails and a curious heart, to her friend Kavi, who clutched a handful of river stones. The stranger sat beneath a great banyan tree at the edge of the village, its roots sprawling like the arms of a wise old friend. The children, drawn by his laughter, gathered around, their quarrels forgotten. "Greetings, young ones," he said, his voice as gentle as a breeze. "I am but a traveler, a friend of the heart, and I carry a story for those who wish to listen." His eyes twinkled, and Lila felt as though he was speaking directly to her. "What kind of story?" asked Kavi, dropping his stones into a pile. "A story of Maitreya," the stranger replied, "the one who will come to teach the world about love that knows no bounds, kindness that never fades, and joy that lifts every spirit." The children leaned closer, their eyes wide with interest. The stranger's words were like a melody, weaving a spell of wonder. "Maitreya," he began, "is the Buddha of the future, the one who waits patiently in the heavens, preparing to bring light to a world ready to listen. But his teachings are not just for tomorrow, they are for today, for you, for every moment you choose to act with kindness." He paused, looking at each child, and Lila felt a warmth in her chest, as if a tiny sun had begun to glow within her. "Would you like to hear how Maitreya's light once touched a village like yours, teaching children to turn quarrels into friendship and sadness into laughter?" The children nodded eagerly, and the stranger's smile grew even wider. "Then listen well," he said, "and let this story plant a seed in your heart. If it grows, share it with others, perhaps by liking this video, subscribing to hear more, or even leaving a super thanks to keep these tales alive." He winked, and the children giggled, settling onto the grass as he began. "Once, in a village much like Sunpetal, there lived a boy named Aaron. Aaron was quick to laugh, but just as quick to argue. He loved collecting treasures, smooth pebbles, feathers, and bits of colored glass, but he guarded them fiercely, fearing others would take them. One day, a great festival came to the village, and children from all around gathered to play games and share their treasures. Aaron, however, refused to share, clutching his bag of trinkets tightly. "These are mine," he declared when another boy, Tenzin, asked to see his sparkling blue glass. The other children turned away, and Aaron felt a pang of loneliness, though he wouldn't admit it. That night, as the moon hung low, Aaron dreamed of a figure bathed in golden light, sitting beneath a tree that shimmered with leaves of every color. "Aaron," the figure said, his voice like a warm embrace, "I am Maitreya, and I see the treasure in your heart, greater than any stone or glass. Your true treasure is your kindness, but it grows only when you share it." Aaron woke with a start, his heart racing. The next day, he returned to the festival, his bag of trinkets still in hand. But this time, instead of guarding them, he offered the blue glass to Tenzin. "Let's trade," he said shyly. Tenzin's face lit up, and he gave Aaron a feather, as bright as a flame. Soon, the other children joined in, sharing their treasures, and the festival rang with laughter. From that day, Aaron learned that kindness is a treasure that multiplies when given away. The village became a place of sharing, where every child's heart glowed like a star. And Maitreya's light, though unseen, was felt in every smile. The stranger paused, looking at the children of Sunpetal. "What do you think Aaron learned?" he asked. Lila raised her hand. "That sharing makes you happy," she said. Kavi nodded. "And it makes friends." The stranger clapped his hands, his laughter filling the air. "Exactly. Maitreya's teaching is simple. Kindness is the key to joy, and it starts with you, right now. Try it today, share a smile, a kind word, or even this story with someone you love. And if you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, or leave a super thanks to help us share more of Maitreya's light." The children of Sunpetal left the banyan tree that day with hearts a little lighter, their quarrels forgotten. They didn't know it yet, but the stranger's story was only the beginning, a spark that would grow into a flame of compassion, lighting their path and the paths of others. The sun dipped low over Sunpetal village, painting the sky with strokes of orange and pink, as if the heavens themselves were smiling. The children, still buzzing from the stranger's tale of Maitreya, and Aaron, scattered across the valley, their hearts humming with a new kind of energy. Lila, with her pigtails bouncing, clutched a small flower she'd plucked by the river, determined to share it with someone who needed a smile. Kavi, his pockets now empty of stones, ran to his friend Milo, eager to play without arguing over who was fastest. The stranger's words had planted a seed, and though the children didn't fully understand it, they felt a warmth growing inside them, a spark of Maitreya's light. If this story is lighting up your heart too, dear friends, keep it glowing by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. And maybe leave a super thanks to help us spread more tales of kindness. As days passed, the children of Sunpetal began to change. Quarrels grew rarer, replaced by giggles and shared games. Lila gave her flower to old Mara, the weaver, whose eyes crinkled with joy at the gift. Kavi and Milo built a kite together, taking turns flying it, their shouts of delight echoing across the fields. But not everyone in Sunpetal felt the spark so easily. There was a boy named Soren, quiet and shy, who often sat alone by the edge of the forest, watching the other children play. Soren's family was poor, and he wore patched clothes that made him feel small. He had no treasures to share, no stones, no feathers, no glass, and so he kept to himself, afraid the others would laugh if he tried to join them. One evening, as the village gathered for a lantern festival, the children noticed Soren sitting under a willow tree, his knees drawn up, watching the glowing lanterns float into the sky. Layla nudged Kavi. "He looks lonely," she whispered. Kavi frowned, remembering how he used to guard his stones so fiercely. "Maybe he needs a story like Aaron's," he said. The two children, filled with the courage of Maitreya's tale, decided to seek the stranger again. They found him by the banyan tree, now lit by fireflies that danced like tiny stars. His smile welcomed them, as if he'd been expecting their return. "Kind ones," he said, his voice soft as moonlight. "What brings you back to this old tree?" Layla spoke first, her words tumbling out. "Soren doesn't play with us. He's alone, and we want to help him, like Maitreya helped Aaron." Kavi nodded. "But we don't know how. Can you tell us another story about Maitreya? One that shows us how to make someone feel not so alone?" The stranger's eyes sparkled, and he patted the ground, inviting them to sit. "You've already taken the first step," he said, "for to see another's sadness and wish to help is the heart of Maitreya's way. Let me share a story of a girl who felt like Soren, and how Maitreya's light found her." The fireflies seemed to glow brighter as the stranger began. "In a village far away, cradled by mountains like yours, there lived a girl named Tara. Tara was quiet, her clothes worn, and her heart heavy with the fear that she had nothing to offer. She watched other children share toys and laughter, but she stayed apart, believing she was unworthy. One night, during a festival of stars, Tara sat alone, gazing at the sky, when a soft light appeared before her. It was Maitreya, his face radiant with kindness, his laughter like a song that warmed the air. "Tara," he said, "you think you have no treasure, but your heart is a jewel brighter than any star. The smallest gift, even with love, can light up the world." Maitreya pointed to a tiny pebble at Tara's feet, so plain it seemed worthless. "Give this to someone," he said, "and speak a kind word with it." Tara hesitated, but Maitreya's smile gave her courage. The next day, she approached a boy who was crying because his toy had broken. Shyly, she held out the pebble. "It's not much," she said, "but it's smooth, and I think it's special. I hope it makes you smile." The boy took the pebble, and his tears turned to a grin. "It's the best pebble I've ever seen," he said. Soon, other children gathered, and Tara found herself sharing stories of the stars she loved to watch. The children listened, enchanted, and Tara's loneliness melted away. She learned that her true gift was her heart, and even the smallest act of kindness could shine like a star. The stranger paused, looking at Layla and Kavi. "What did Tara learn?" he asked. Layla's eyes lit up. "That everyone has something to give, even if it's small," Kavi added, "and kindness makes you feel like you belong." The stranger nodded, his laughter rippling through the night. "Yes, Maitreya's light lives in every heart, waiting to be shared. Go to Soren and let your kindness be his star. And if this story moves you, share it with others, like, subscribe, or leave a super thanks to keep Maitreya's light glowing." The next day, Layla and Kavi approached Soren at the festival. Leela held out a tiny lantern she'd made from folded leaves. "Soren," she said, "we made this for you. Will you light it with us?" Soren's eyes widened, and though he hesitated, he took the lantern. Kavi grinned. "Come play. We're making more lanterns." For the first time, Soren smiled, and as they lit the lantern together, it floated into the sky, a small star joining the others. The children of Sun Petal cheered, and Soren's heart felt lighter than ever. The stranger watched from the banyan tree, his smile as bright as the lanterns. Maitreya's light was spreading, one small act at a time, and the children were learning that kindness could weave a village into a family dot. As the lantern festival faded into memory, Sun Petal Village seemed to glow with a new kind of warmth. The children's laughter rang clearer, their gains brighter, and their hearts lighter. as if Maitreya's light had woven itself into the very air they breathed. Lila, Kavi, and Soren were now inseparable, their friendship a testament to the yes. Strangers' stories. Soren, once so shy, now joined the others in sharing small treasures, a twig shaped like a bird, a song he'd made up, or a story about the clouds. The village elders noticed the change, whispering among themselves that the children had learned something ancient, something sacred. Yet, the story of Maitreya was not done with some patol, for the greatest lessons often come when hearts are tested. If this tale is warming your spirit, dear friends, keep it alive, like, subscribe, and share this video, and consider leaving a super thanks to help us tell more stories of kindness. One crisp morning, as autumn leaves danced in the wind, a challenge arrived in Sunpetal. A storm had swept through a neighboring village, Moonbrook, leaving its fields flooded and its people in need. The elders of Sunpetal called a meeting, and the children listened as they spoke of sending food, blankets, and hands to help rebuild. But resources were scarce, and some villagers hesitated, worried about their own winter stores. The children, gathered at the edge of the crowd, felt a stir in their hearts. Lila whispered to Kavi and Soren, "Maitreya's stories taught us to share, even when it's hard. Shouldn't we help Moonbrook?" Soren, his newfound courage shining, nodded. "But how? We don't have much." Kavi's eyes sparkled. "Let's find the stranger. He'll know what to do." They ran to the banyan tree, where the stranger sat as if waiting, his mala beads glinting in the sunlight. His smile welcomed them, and his laughter seemed to lift the weight of their worry. "You've come with big hearts," he said, "and a question I see. Tell me, what troubles you?" Layla spoke first. "Moonbrook needs help, but the village is afraid to share. We want to do something, like Maitreya would, but we're just children." The stranger's eyes twinkled. "Just children? Oh, my young friends, the smallest spark can light a great fire. Let me tell you one last story of Maitreya, a story of a village in need and a child who changed everything." The children sat close, the wind carrying the stranger's words like leaves. Long ago, in a village called Star Hollow, a drought had left the fields dry and the people hungry. The villagers guarded their remaining food, fearing there was not enough. Among them was a girl named Mira, who had only a single loaf of bread, baked by her mother. Mira had heard tales of Maitreya, the Buddha whose kindness could heal hearts and lands. One night, she dreamed of him, standing in a field that bloomed despite the drought. "Mira," he said, his voice like rain, "your gift, no matter how small, can awaken the compassion in others. Give with love, and the world will follow." The next day, Mira took her loaf to the village square, where the elders argued over what to do. Trembling but brave, she held it up. "This is all I have," she said, "but I want to share it with everyone." The villagers stared, astonished. A man stepped forward, moved by Mira's courage, and offered a sack of rice. A woman guided a basket of apples. Soon, every villager was sharing what they had, and the square overflowed with food. They sent half to a neighboring village in need. And Star Hollow's fields, as if blessed by Mira's act, began to bloom again. Maitreya's light had shown that one small gift, even with love, could awaken a community. The stranger looked at the children, his smile warm as a hearth. "What did Mira learn?" he asked. Soren spoke softly. "That giving, even a little, can start something big." Lila added, "And it makes everyone want to help." Kavi grinned. "It's like Maitreya's light. It spreads." The stranger clapped, his laughter like a bell. "Yes, Maitreya's way is to give without fear, trusting that kindness multiplies. Go, young ones, and light the spark for Moonbrook. And if this story inspires you, share it, like, subscribe, or leave a super thanks to keep Maitreya's light shining. The children raced back to the village, their hearts ablaze. At the next meeting, Lila stood tall. "We want to help Moonbrook," she declared. She held up a small basket of berries she'd picked. Kavi added a carved wooden bird he'd made. Soren, his voice steady, offered a blanket his mother had woven. The villagers, touched by the children's courage, began to share grain cloth tools. Soon, a caravan of supplies was ready for Moonbrook, and the children led the way, carrying their small gifts with pride. When they arrived, Moonbrook's people wept with gratitude, and the two villages worked together, rebuilding homes and planting new fields. Sunpetal and Moonbrook became like family, their bond sealed by the children's kindness. Back in Sunpetal, the children gathered under the banyan tree one last time, but the stranger was gone. In his place was a single lotus flower, its petals glowing softly. Lila, Kavi, and Soren knew it was a sign Maitreya's light was now theirs to carry. From that day, Sunpetal became a beacon of compassion, where every child learned to share, to love, and to light up the world, one small act at a time. As the story ends, dear friends, let Maitreya's light live in you. Try one kind act today, a smile, a gift, a helping hand, and see how it grows. If this tale has touched your heart, like, subscribe, and share this video to spread its warmth. And consider a super thanks to help us share more stories of love and kindness. Together, we can make the world a little brighter, just like Sunpetal.